Welcome back to the Rivalry. I am Joe from SeahawkTalk. Alongside me is Ryan from No More Sports. Sorry about the hiatus. I was feeling under the weather last week, the week before. I don't remember what happened, but we're back and we're here to stay. So, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Oh, fucking awesome. Awesome. Just enjoying all the news going on with football. Uh, Not a lot of it pertaining towards the Seahawks and 49ers, from what I've heard, no big splash signings. But one thing I will say is it seems like teams that don't make a bunch of huge splash signings, I'm just going to say, let me rephrase this. Usually the teams that win free agency aren't the teams that are winning conference championships. So let's just put it that way.
Yeah. We were kind of. It wasn't a splash signing, really, but it was. We got Don Dodson in the house. What up, Don? There we go. It wasn't really a splash signing. It was a very talented guy who we thought we had our hands on, who could step in for Dre Greenlaw while he was out, and that was Eric Kendricks. And it was announced yesterday that he was going to be a part of our team. And then today, it sounds like he's now signing with the Dallas Cowboys.
All right.
So that was now the contract wasn't going to be big by any means, but that is a handy guy to have around. And you're talking about Dre Greenlaw comes back. Now you got Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and Eric Kendricks. That would have been nasty as
Well,
you know what I mean?
It was a torn Achilles for Greenlaw, correct?
Yeah.
So that'll be a lingering, not lingering, but that's a long recovery.
So essentially, yes, to get back to 100%, because we know it takes a good 2 years or so to kind of get back 100% from an Achilles, I would say 2 to 3.
But on the field, what timeline are we thinking? He's not going to be out there opening day, right?
No, no, not at all. It happened in February, and that's why it probably. I'm guessing he'll come in halfway through the season or so.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a gap from the first half. Obviously, what was he, number 48, filling in for him? Filling in for Greenlaw when he went down.
Burks?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he held his own.
But I believe, was it him or was it Odom? We signed.
Burks sounds more familiar.
No, I'm talking about we just re-signed a guy. I can't remember if it was Burks or it was Odom. Odom's the safety. I think it was the safety.
Oh, okay.
We re-signed one of them. And then, yeah, we were going for Kendricks, and that fell through. I'm wondering if we are going to look at anybody else in the linebacker position, because it seemed like there's the 49ers' real need right now is like guard and tackle, like a right guard and somebody who can play tackle at a high level. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be left tackle, right tackle. It seems like our right tackle's doing all right. It's not like he's top echelon, top tier, but it seems like he's all right. He's all right. Like in the scheme, he did all right. He gave up 3 sacks week 1 to TJ Watt. But other than that, he did a pretty dang good job for being a nobody. So I don't see that. And then we got Trent Williams is about to leave. So that's why I'm like, we need a tackle. We need a tackle and we need a guard, because Burford is not doing it. Mm-hmm. He's just not it.
And that's something with the Seahawks too. We lost our starting left guard in free agency, Damian Lewis. He signed with the Carolina Panthers, I believe. So that's one that's off ours.
Was he your best guard?
I'd realistically say he was the only one that was a starter. Yeah, because the
Okay.
one was kind of a rotational piece.
See, we were doing that rotational shit with Brendel. Or not Brendel, but Burford.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was okay, but turns out Pryor had to run the whole, or Feliciano had to handle the business all year long.
Well, and also you want continuity. I may be old school for that, but with your offensive line, you definitely want continuity. That's a big
That
thing with me. So
big thing. You gotta be able to. So like one thing I knew from playing offensive line that was so big is when you're pulling,
mm-hmm.
you have to know how far somebody sticks their feet back
Yeah,
because you have to take that angle. This is the other thing. If you know he's got a hell of a guy in front of him, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to give that guy a little bit more leeway because he's probably gonna be trying his hardest not to just let the guy through the line. So you're gonna have to figure out a different path. You know, you're gonna have
mm-hmm.
to get a little deeper, but you can't get too deep, or else you take yourself out of the play. So
Yeah,
that's why it's really important. You can't just set somebody in there like, oh, we don't play a lot together, and then expect good things to happen. It can,
yeah,
but that's not what's most likely going to happen.
yeah. Um, yeah. So we signed. So we don't have a guard or a center right now. We don't have either guard
Oh
or center.
wow,
I could be lying. Phil Haynes may still be under contract, but at least I know that Damian Lewis is gone. Signed Nick Harris, center today, but he can also play guard. Also signed George Fant. He was a Seahawk for a while, from 2016 through 2019. He kind of plays a swing tackle position. He can play left or right, kind of a backup tackle, if that makes sense. And who knows with Abe Lucas, our right tackle, if his knee's still bugging him and, they need to kind of give him a little bit of a break, maybe they slide him at guard this season, right? A little less mobile position when it comes to at least pass blocking. So, yeah, we'll see.
yeah. I we survived on these swing tackles for the last, I don't know. This is almost like Kyle's whole regime. We had Brunskill and what was his name? Brunskill, and the year 2019 we went to the Super Bowl. We had Brunskill and I can't remember the other guy's name, but we had both right and left tackle out, and they got us through a couple of games. And I don't know how the hell they did it. And then Brunskill ended up becoming a guard. Um, and yeah, and then last year we had Pryor and Feliciano really handled the business. So when when Burford was slacking and just couldn't do his job,
Mhm.
Feliciano stepped in and was at some weeks he was graded the top offensive lineman. He was like, "What? Like this is our backup guy." So we get a lot of, and it's good to have a good swing tackle or that'll almost save a season sometimes if you've got a good vet who might not be the best, essentially, as far as strongest, fastest, this and that, but smart enough to be able to play every position and know what the hell's going on and has seen everything and is not surprised and can help your young guys out as far as knowledge. That is like, it's handy. So the center thing really would stress me out though, because
It
that
always does. We haven't had honest to God, we haven't had a good center since Max Unger left, and that was 2014. So, I'm assuming Nick Harris is going to be a backup. I think they're going to have Olu. Can't even pronounce his last name.
oh
Um, I'm assuming he's going to be our starter this year at center. What was this? I'll figure it out later. But yeah, I believe that he will be the starting center this season.
gotcha.
Any
Yeah,
big names? Any big names signed with the 49ers? I know Devin Lloyd was one of them, right?
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd, not Devin Lloyd. Sorry.
Yeah. That would probably be the big splash right there. And not necessarily, but the spending, because I think we're only paying him like $10 million a year, which is it's pennies when it comes to what a real like Nick Bosa is getting paid. Jesus. Anyway, so Leonard Floyd, $10 million a year, I believe. He had 32 tackles last year and 10.5 sacks. So that's handy. We got Malik Collins from, where was he from? I think we got him from Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland Browns, I believe. Got him from Cleveland Browns. He's got 41 tackles and 5 sacks as a defensive tackle. So he's handling business up front there. That's a really big signing right there, because we released Eric Armstead or cut him, and that was our number 1, our number 2 guy on that defensive line. So Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave are now our 2 starting tackles, and Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa are now our 2 starting defensive ends, as far as I see it. Things could still happen. We've got Drake Jackson waiting in the wings. Who knows? Maybe this is the year he wakes up. Chris Kosurik said that maybe 2 or 3 years and we'd have a guy, and 2 years would have been this last off season, and 3 years would be this off season. So yeah, we also got Yetur Gross Matos. I believe he was from Carolina. He's defensive end. He got 36 tackles and 5.5 sacks. Also, this is another thing to bring up. I've been hearing rumors about the 49ers maybe experimenting with a 3-4 at times this year, upcoming season.
Okay.
And maybe if they're not going to do a 3-4, Leonard Floyd and Gross Mateus, they both have more success, if I'm correct, stand-up rushing. It's kind of why, boom, you get 2 stand-up rushers. Are we going to be doing 3-4 at times? Not to say like all the times, but at certain times, are you going to switch to a 3-4 on us? And when I immediately thought that and thought, oh, they're going to try and do some fucking Seahawks bullshit. I just immediately thought of you. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck are they going to do to us? And yeah, so that's the guys we picked up so far. We lost Eric Armstead. Javon Kinlaw went to the Jets. Cleveland Farrell went to Washington. That's a guy I really was I wanted to kind of keep around. Cleveland Farrell, he's a high effort type of guy. He gives you great effort 100% of the time. And he really, even if he's not getting there and getting home, he's getting, at least he's putting pressure on the offensive line. If not the quarterback, he's putting pressure on the offensive line. They're having to earn their checks. So that's something I appreciated out of him. Chase Young, it looks like Chase Young is trying to, I guess he interviewed with the Panthers earlier this week or today or something like that. We don't look like we're picking him up. Sam Darnold went to Minnesota. Charlie Warner, our backup tight end, went to Atlanta. He's our blocking tight end.
How about sorry, not to cut you off, but
yeah,
how about the bag that Darnold got from Minnesota? Fucking $10.5 million. Look at him.
That's what he got from us.
I mean, geez, good for him. A fresh start.
He got from us. There's a guy, he does the Travis King. He does this 49er Faithful song, right? And like when we were in the playoffs, he was like just making posts just to put his song in the background, right? Just, oh my gosh, it was horrible. Every time you looked, his song was going off. And this guy's talking about, well, how about we spend some draft capital on getting Justin Fields to kind of, pimp out our second quarterback game? And I was like, bro, if we're going to be putting resources into QB2, like how are we going to win another Super Bowl? I mean, it's just an idiot move.
Yeah, it's not like you won it this year. I mean, it was close. It was close, right? But there's still areas to improve on. It's not like you guys went fucking 17-0, went out in the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. Fuck,
Right.
you know. But yeah, there's
If you
been
were
just
on your backup quarterback, normally 99.9 times out of 10, you're screwed for the playoffs anyways. You know what I mean? There's the only real time is like what the Eagles,
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles and Brock
that
Purdy.
same season too was fucking Case Keenum for the Vikings starting, and Sam Bradford. Remember, that was the NFC Championship. It was like either Case Keenum or Sam Bradford against Nick Foles. I mean, that was a weird season when it came to backup quarterbacks because starters went down.
Yeah. And look, and you can't bank on the fact that, oh, if we have a halfway decent backup quarterback, that when it gets to the NFC Championship, the other team will be in the same situation as us.
Yeah.
You can't bank on that. So, like, pouring resources in it, it's better to draft guys or like a Geno Smith situation where you get a Geno Smith who's nice and cheap, you know what I mean, who's had things. He might not be the best at executing, but he knows all the things about holding the clipboard, and can help the other quarterback out. And what I mean, like watching the defensive
yeah, exactly.
schemes. Yeah. Not like you have to have knowledge holding the damn clipboard.
Yeah, there's talk about Fields coming to Seattle. I think that could be a real possibility. Sit behind Geno for a year if he comes in.
I would think that was a great idea if you still had Pete Carroll. I don't know about this coach, so that doesn't, because I think Pete Carroll out of everybody would be able to kind of get Justin Fields to relax a little bit. Somebody to tell him, I love you. You know what I mean? Don't worry about all that shit that everybody else is talking about. I appreciate you. Now let's start over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have Harbaugh 2.0 realistically as our head coach.
Okay.
That's who this guy is. Less socially awkward than Jim. He's more like a John Harbaugh, if that makes sense. Jim is very socially awkward. My mind is always on football, where John can relax a little bit, if that makes sense. But he's very Harbaugh-esque, a lot more of a hard ass at coach. Our offensive coordinator I know a little bit about, obviously, because he was the offensive coordinator at UW the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And he's laid back. Our offensive line coach, also the UW offensive line coach, a lot of firsts. Okay, we have sorry to go off on a tangent here, get a little off topic, but you got to look at it this way. We have a first-time head coach. We have first-time offensive coordinator, first-time defensive coordinator, first-time offensive line coach. There's going to be a lot of learning and growing pains this season. I believe it's not going to be all the Twitter heroes think, oh man, we got the division locked up already. I don't see it. I see us having a year that matters in growth, right? I think this staff is going to grow together, and they're going to learn a lot of things along the way. But they don't have it all down. I mean, geez, McDonald's 36 years old. So, yeah. Sorry for going off on a tangent there.
No, you're good.
But we did go. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just real quick, I just wanted to mention another person the 49ers lost was Isaiah Oliver. He went to the Jets, and he was a guy we will not miss. He came up big on 2 plays and then gave up 6 big plays up until he was taken
defensive
off.
back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Safety / nickel. You're good.
Yeah, obviously the big news with the Seahawks today is signing safety Rayshon Jenkins to fill the hole of either. What? What's up?
Filling the role of Adams. Get that bitch out of here.
He's gonna kind of be more of a. It's not a Cam Chancellor Earl Thomas league anymore. We're gonna have two safeties that are built pretty similar this season. But to fill the role, let's say of Diggs, because Adams was a non-factor, and I don't care who you are watching right now, he is a non-factor. So let's get somebody in there that can be. He's a pretty big name. He's 30 years old this season, 2 years. So, I mean, not in the prime physical condition, but it's not like he's super old. People are concerned that he's 30. We also re-signed Leonard Williams. That was a big thing. We traded a second-round pick for him last season. Gave him quite a bit of money. Let's hope that pays off. Re-signed Noah Fant. Re-signed Darrell Taylor. That's a big one. And Seahawks recap show, sorry in the chat, says Kobe Bryant season. We'll see, because he was he definitely showed flashes in the preseason of safety last year. One thing I did want to say is the losses. We lost Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson.
Whoa, Will Dissly. Oh, damn.
Yeah, both to the Rams. Well, we cut him. We cut Will Dissly. He was on the books for $11 million.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah. So, Drew Lock signed with the Giants, so we're gonna need to fill up that back.
They did him dirty. They're like, we're gonna hit you up later on the back end. It'll be great. You'll still get all your money.
Will? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes sometimes. We talked about Damian Lewis. The biggest one is probably Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks. Bobby signed with the Redskins or the Commanders today.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell is? Oh, coach is gone. Coach is gone. Fuck you. I don't have anything. I came back for coach. I don't need no rebuild.
No, he actually said he wanted to come back. He was interviewed after Pete left, but the price tag that the Redskins paid him was $9 million, and we were only paying him $6 million last year. I think a big thing is Dan Quinn wants him to run his defense. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator here during the Legion of Boom days, right?
It's not even necessarily for his play on the field. It's also for his brain
leadership
behind not just that, but being able to teach everybody and get everybody in the right spot. Another coach, but on the field, essentially. That makes sense. That's worth every dollar of that $9 million. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're trying to do, he's worth every dollar of that $9 million.
Yeah, I lied. Seahawks recap show. Will Dissly went to the Chargers. Sorry.
Oh,
I knew he went to Los Angeles. My bad on that.
Who cares about the Chargers anyways?
I think Parkinson went to the Rams, but yeah, they're no longer Seahawks. But yeah, Bobby is it hurts again, but you know what? I expected it. In my mind, he's not worth it. The $9 million that they're paying him in this particular situation, trying to get younger. But the problem is we don't have a linebacker. We don't have an inside linebacker. We have John Radigan, which, do you know who John Radigan is? The answer is probably no, because he's a third string player on the Seahawks, fourth string player on the Seahawks. So that's something that definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah. See, in your situation, I would still pay Bobby Wagner $9 million, because I don't think you're in a situation where $3 million is really going to stop you from going out and getting that extra guy who's going to win you the Super Bowl this season. I think I think in 2 years that might be a thing, or 2 years. I think that might be a thing. You might be in that situation where it's like, we've got to, we got your replacement already waiting in the wings. You know what I mean? He's been on here. He's only got 2 years left on his contract. No, you need to go so we can use him while he's still cheap. We'll save a shit ton of money because we got to pay the quarterback or the wide receiver. You know what I mean? Or the defensive end. but I don't think it's really that much. I would have kept him in that situation. I would have kept him over $3 million. Yeah, I would have kept him. But unless you're talking about we're changing up defense and now he's going to have to relearn a whole bunch of stuff now, then maybe not.
And this is a whole different. I mean, it's still 3-4, but last year we said, I don't know why everybody we we ran a 4-3 last year. Everybody can say it's a 3-4 all they want. This is a 3-4 defense. But when you line up in a 4-3 base, every time we run a base defense, you're not. we're in a 4-3 with 2 stand-up defensive ends. That's realistically what we were running last year.
And normally in a base defense, you're there to the base defense is there to stop the run and to stop essentially it's to stop the run and maybe some passes. Yep. Right? But it's more run centric normally, depending on what team you're playing. And then you would want an actual 3-4, right? So why is on base downs you're in a 4-3, which the reason for the 3-4 is to have more fluidity with your being able to have more people on the line if you want, essentially, but also be able to shadow different coverages or fake different coverages, because then you can have your defensive, your outside linebacker, which essentially is a defensive end in a 4-3. They can drop back into coverage. So I don't get it. Why would you be in a 4-3 in your base?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you should be in a 4-3 on 3rd and long.
Yeah,
or nickel. Or a nickel, or something, depending whatever they're giving you. You know what I mean? You should just match it, but with that, and you got 4 down linemen, pin your ear back, go, right? Instead of, who are we gonna send? And they're standing up and they're probably not as fast. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense.
No, I get it. Thoughts on Devin White? Would he be a good fit for Seattle? Yeah, I think just about any inside linebacker would be a good fit right now. I'm really waiting for next season to get our hands on number 57 there for the 49ers. I think he'll be a good fit next year.
You're not getting Greenlaw. Oh my God.
Just wait till they have to pay everybody.
Greenlaw already got paid a little bit. He got like a 3-year contract. They might try and extend him now.
It's the middle of the show right now. I did want to say happy 1-year anniversary to the rivalry between me and Ryan. That's 2 days away. 2 days away is our 1-year anniversary. So thanks for sticking around with me. And it's been 1 year.
Yeah, no problem.
But sorry, I want to do it right in the middle of the show. Just catch everybody off guard.
Off guard.
But what are you looking for the rest of free agency? And I guess the draft is coming up sooner than we know it. It's about a month away. So you guys have a 1st-round pick this year, correct? For the first time in ever. So
yeah, I think it's pick 31. We also might be picking up 2 extra comps for the players that are leaving.
That doesn't kick in till next year, though, correct?
I can't remember.
Yeah, so that'll be for the 2025 draft.
Yeah, but we also have some from last year.
Oh, okay.
We have comps all year long. Every year we've got comps. Multiple comps. I think we have 3 4th-round picks. We probably have 2 or 3 3rd-round picks.
Well, yeah, you can draft a kicker. One that's clutch.
Oh, Jesus.
One that performs in the Super Bowl.
Did you hear about what Did you hear about how they're changing the kickoffs?
You know what? I've been burying my head in the sand about that. I haven't wanted to listen to it. Is it official?
No, but it
Okay.
seems like it could be, because it seems like that it's going to be a thing. Like,
The XFL style, right?
kinda, it's weird. So, if it gets kicked out of the back of the end zone,
Hmm.
it's like they get it on the 45-yard line.
Shut the fuck up. What?
Yeah, if you kick it out the back of the end zone, it's like, now listen, this is gonna be, I kind of like this.
This is so. You're making this up. You swear to God.
I believe, I can't remember what it's. I believe it's out of bounds. They can fair catch it in the back of the end zone. They get it to the 35, but it's something about like it. They're trying to make the kickers have to accurately put the ball. I think the fair catch is gone. You can do a touchback in the end zone, but they're gonna make them have to like get the ball on like the 1-yard line. That's essentially what's gonna happen. Yeah, Pat McAfee did a thing on it. So if anybody wants to go back and not listen to, wants to actually get the real insight, I listened to it like 3 days ago one time. So I might not get it all the way correct, but the gist of it is they are gonna line up closer to each other. They're or down the field, I believe. And then yeah, the rules of where the ball lands is gonna change, and it's gonna make it so where you're gonna wanna put it on the 1 or the 2-yard line essentially, and make it so they have to come out and return it, because you don't wanna give them a touchback. And you don't wanna, if you kick it out the back of the end zone, then I believe it is, or something like that. If you kick it out the back of the end zone, it's 45 on the 45, and I think if you kick it out of bounds, it's at the 45 also.
That makes no sense. They
Why?
don't like kickoffs.
They want to
So
keep the ball in play, and they want
they don't want to keep the ball in play on kickoffs. What the fuck
they
are they talking about?
so they're
They've
moving
done
people closer. So
they've done
they're moving people closer to where the ball is received. So therefore people won't have such a head of steam. And we might actually get more returns this way. Like returns for touchdowns.
yeah.
Maybe,
Let's put a pin in this till next week.
Let's put a pin in this.
let's write a note down.
We could next week. We could just watch the whole video and talk about it the whole time.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that. Oh, they want okay. So Seahawks recap show. They want more kick returns. What the? Well then, let's.
They want more kick returns, but they didn't want. They didn't want those collisions with people getting down in a full head of steam.
Jesus
so now
Christ.
There won't be that. Also, this is the one thing I don't like. Okay, onside kicks are good. You can do onside kicks, but you have to tell the other team, and it can only be in the fourth quarter by the team that's down, I believe.
That's fine. I think
no.
I think surprise onside kicks.
They're surprise onside kicks. That's no.
They're for screw pussies. That. I hate that.
You got to be ready. It's football.
I hate Sean Payton, so he's the master of surprise
and
onside
for
kicks.
The onside kicks, they can overload the side with 6.
Well, they should be able to.
Well, I'm just letting you know they took that out a while ago. So
let's put a pin in this till next week. like the Seahawks recap show says, they want more kick returns, but for the past 10 years, they've been doing everything humanly possible to stop kick returns. So now they want more kick returns. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, what they were doing was stopping it, yes, but that's not what their goal was. Their goal was safety.
Yeah. Anyways, how about what's 49ers backup quarterback situation? Let's just get to this.
Ooh. So right now, Sam Darnold left from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So Brandon Allen, I believe, is our backup if he's even under contract anymore. I do have some news ish.
Breaking or no?
Oh, no. Not breaking. Debo changed his number to number 1.
That's bullshit.
And so some person out there said that, and when I say some person, it's when I read the comments underneath the original post that posted this news, I guess we'll call it, there's people are asking, their statements were just posting any old garbage to try and stay relevant. It seemed like some people really didn't believe this account, whatever they said, but they said that the Ravens asked about Debo Samuel and were told no by the 49ers.
Well, I bet I don't know if that's true or false, but I'll tell you what. At least from hearing from the Seahawks, and DMs lie a lot, but that's their job, is to lie to us and the media, right? That's kind of their job, just to be secretive about everything. But I heard, they call about everybody. Fuck, they call about everybody, kind of gauge situations, right? I hear that, people call about fucking Mahomes, right? So that doesn't really surprise me a whole lot.
Yeah. It surprises me because he had 1,000 yards last season, but he wasn't like consistent. In the Super Bowl, he didn't do much. In the what was it? In the championship game, I believe. No, that was Brandon Ayuk with the fumble. But I don't believe Brandon or Debo did much then either. And he's going to be a $22 million hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't see them really shopping it around. Well, no. I guess if you're just going to make a call, but like I don't see why it would work, because the 49ers are going to want them to eat all that money, because the 49ers are going to want it as much off the books as possible. I don't see them wanting to pay all that money for Debo this season. So if they were going to do that, they'd have to pay out the ass essentially with picks. And I'm not saying out the ass, but they'd have to pay more than the value of just trading for a Debo Samuel at this point in time. So it's like, why even call?
Well, gotta make calls. Somebody's interested. There's a price for everybody, right?
Yeah. 49ers restructured Kyle Juszczyk's contract, freed up about 1.75 mil for the cap. Some people were upset because we didn't cut him. He is worth $5 million on the cap. But
they're upset about $5 million against the
bro,
cap.
So you've got the best player in his position on your team for $5 million.
There's 4 in the NFL, but yeah.
Right, but
he's the best. He's the best of the 4.
He's the best, and it's not like he's head and shoulders in front of everybody else, but he's in front of everybody else, and it's obvious. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
What he can do in the passing game, like it's nasty. So he's just underutilized, and that's not his fault. That's Kyle's fault. You need to talk to Kyle about why he's underutilizing a $5 million asset to the team. Right?
Shanahan, not Juszczyk.
Yeah. Shanahan. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Talk to. Well, I always talk always refer to Kyle as his first name. Juice is Juice. You know what I mean? Use check. You know what I mean? He's Juice.
No, I'm just being a douche.
No, you're good.
What's new?
Yeah. So
yeah, we restructured Lockett, and I knew we were either going to restructure or cut him. We talked about this last time. I'm happy they didn't cut him. Restructured him. He was on the books for $30 million this year. They reworked it to where he's due $15 million this year and $15 million next year. He took a big pay cut. It wasn't just like they backloaded the contract, you know. Took a big pay cut to stay. So that made me happy because he wasn't. I love him, but he wasn't worth the money he was owed. Also, getting back to Deebo there, here's what I say with Deebo Samuel. If you're gonna change your fucking number, buy out anybody that's bought a 19 jersey, Deebo Samuel, and say, "Hey, I'm buying you a new number 1 Deebo Samuel jersey."
that ain't happening because that is a very popular number. But at the same time, like, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh man, look at them with that 19 on."
I would never wear it again. It fucking happened to me, dude. I bought a 37 Diggs jersey and fucking changed his number to 6. Yeah, I was pissed. I never wore it once. It's in my closet still, and we cut him, so never gonna wear it again ever. I guess I just bought it.
Oh wow! Like, but I just think Deebo's been on the team long enough that you can totally get away with that. There's nobody. I'm not shaming nobody for wearing a number 19 Deebo.
Oh, I'm not shaming anybody else. I'm shaming him. His number.
No, I got you, but I mean, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I do. You brought it up. I think it's a big deal now.
He changed his all-around sports. He changed his jersey number to number 1.
Who was 1 last year? Wasn't it a defensive back? You had a 1, didn't you?
We've had a 1 the last 3 years. Jimmy Ward was 1 in 2002. Who was it? Who went to 1?
It was like a defensive back. I swear.
It was. They've always been defensive backs. Who was it last year?
You know what pisses me off too?
Was it?
This is off-season time, so we can bitch about whatever we want, right? Why the fuck did we open up the floodgates with single-digit numbers? Because that irritates the shit out of me. I miss, prior to 2020, when guess what? You're running back, you can have 20 through 49. You're a quarterback, you can have 1 through 19.
Yeah. Well, that's how I grew up.
All of us grew up. I mean, unless you grew up in the last 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
the single digits, they bug me. Still, I've gotten used to it. It was so weird the first year they did it. I think it was 21 or can't remember if it was 21 or 22 the first year they did it. I think Charvarius Ward was number 1. That's what the recap shows us.
I think it was. I just could remember him as 7, and I was thinking that, like, oh, and Demo went to number 2. But I think he was number 2 before then. And then who went to 3? Ray? Ray.
Yes.
Ray went to 3.
But yeah, no, what the fuck was the problem with the numbers? I mean, that's so irritating. It was nice watching a game and you see a number 51 and being like, okay, that guy's a linebacker.
You know what I like?
He's wearing number 2.
Like, when the offensive line, the center was a 50, the guards were 60s, the tackles were 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So you could always, like, if you're watching tape, you don't even have to know who the player is. You just know that was the guard. Okay, now let's watch it back. Boom, where did the guard start from? Oh, there he is. You know what I mean? Like, you knew where to look. You knew it was easy. Now, holy Jesus, it's fun. But
yeah, I grew up with the offensive line of obviously Walter Jones, Steve Hutchison, Chris Gray. Sorry,
Jones, number 71.
yeah. So Walter Jones. It went Walter Jones, Steve Hutchison, Robbie Tobeck, Chris Gray, Sean Locklear. So it was 71, 76, 61, 62, 75. So I was fine with the 70s and 60s, but I don't know. It irritates the shit out of me. Another thing, when you see a big fat defensive tackle wearing like number 9 or something, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Put number 99 on like a man. All right, you're 6'7", 360 pounds. You shouldn't be wearing a single digit number.
Yeah, and it's funny because it seems like the league is set up to wanting to like make the offenses better and or easier for them to score more points. Well, if you want that to happen, one easy way to do it is to make it so that quarterbacks can actually read the defenses. And having that number system was definitely one way for them to figure out, okay, that's a 30, that's a safety. You know what I mean? Like, that's a safety. Oh,
And
that's
Brady,
a 50. That linebacker.
Tom Brady brought that up when it was when they changed it, and people were like, "Oh, Brady's being a bitch," and I was like, "I agree."
Complaining. I
just
said that too. I said he's being a bitch, and now that I'm seeing this, I'm like, he was right.
No, I didn't even think he was being a bitch. I'm a grumpy old guy when it comes to jersey numbers. Like, I don't know.
One thing I really appreciated him saying was he was talking about how when he was coming up, he's like, I had to play against the Ravens. And if you throw that crosser to your tight end or to your wide receiver and Ray Lewis is sitting right there, like, that's your fault when your wide receiver or tight end goes to the hospital. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Ray Lewis's fault. He's doing his job. You're like, they've put today's game so much on the defense. Like, you have to lay down a nice bed on the ground before the quarterback falls on the ground, or else you get a 15-yard penalty and they get to reset the downs.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've got to worry about how somebody's head moves after they're hit by somebody else, because if you come in at the wrong angle, even though their head is moving into you in a different way than when you went down to make your tackle, you're still going to get hit with that. Yeah. You're still going to get, So to me, like, I think we need to really start changing some things back and putting the Otis on the offense.
They won't do it. Never gonna happen. I get it. I get it. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you got going on the rest of the week?
Oh man, I don't got anything planned. Not the rest of this week. Who knows? I might have to make a little bit of a video after the end of this, like, little free agent flurry. You know what I mean? And put together a little who we got, what their stats are, kind of how they're used.
Yeah, for sure. And just remember, guys, whether you're a Seahawks fan or a 49ers fan, I said this to open the show, usually the team that wins the fucking offseason doesn't win the Super Bowl. They don't make a run to the fucking Super Bowl. When you think the Seahawks, I don't know about your guys' fans, but our guys are getting pretty pissed off that, we're just kind of sitting back and kind of watching what's going on.
You guys need to be building through the draft at this point.
Yep.
That's what you need to be focused on right now, is building through the draft.
Yep, 100%.
And then after about 2 years, well, next year you can start thinking about adding free agents for like 3-4 year contracts. You know what I mean? So you get them now, keep them on the team. So when their price goes up eventually later, they're still on your team, and those draftees, those rookies grow into themselves. And then like in 3 years, that's the when you get the guys looking for the championship rings. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why we're trying to be in that hunt. You know what I mean? And that's where you're going out and making that splash. Like we went for Javon Hardgrave last year, and that was our big splash. And I don't think that paid off.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
But at the same time, our whole line didn't get much production. But they also were chipped and double teamed, I think, more than any other team. Like there wasn't very many times that Nick Bosa got any clean rush. That wasn't generated by some sort of a scheme or a gimmick.
Yeah.
So it was just tough sledding last year. Everybody knew where they had to attack us, and if they're only dropping 3 into coverage, they're happy. The problem is we were letting them complete it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
First third of the season, we were playing like this soft ass coverage, and they're just fucking completing it underneath us and then running for 3 yards before we even get a fucking hand on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
yeah, I remember that. That was a big deal.
And then Steve Wilkes came down from the booth and everything was better.
Yeah, I remember that. I totally remember that.
I need to go back. I need to put up a video, because I'm pretty sure Fred Warner was the one who was like, get his ass down out of that booth and get him to put his foot in Isaiah Oliver's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, I remember you saying Fred Warner was saying he was the most vocal about it when Wilkes came down from.
Well, it wasn't even like, yeah, that's what I said. It was just like, you could tell he was like, yes, everything was perfect. Like, and he had this smile on his face, like exactly what I fucking told him would happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those, like, you know what I mean? I told him so. That's exactly what I wanted. I got the outcome that I wanted from this. You know what I mean? Like, and I think, look, that's what you have to do.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, let's take some notes. We'll discuss the kickoff next show.
We should just watch this right after the show.
I'm gonna put a pin in that.
All right.
I'm gonna make some post-it notes about how angry I get. I get so fucking pissed off at the NFL sometimes. I think rule changes might piss me off more than just about rule changes and number changes. Boy, you want to know how to piss me off. Yeah, I'm an old man, so I miss when they used to kick off. They kick off from the 35 or the 40 now. I miss when they used to kick off from the 30. You know.
Hey Joe, there's some kids on your lawn.
Yeah, exactly. Get the fuck off, dude. Well, all right. Well, thanks for everybody who's joining in or who joined in. Thank you, Ryan. Happy 1-year anniversary. Friday will be the show's 1-year anniversary officially, but close enough. So it's been a pleasure.
Man, it's crazy. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Have a good night. We will catch you next week.
Peace.